My condition, called NDP syndrome, is only known to affect me and 15 other people worldwide. What I want people to do is to look past the way I look. I really want to have a positive and meaningful impact. Dancing and photography is two things that has helped me to keep going.
Because the skin's very tight and gets very dry, we have to moisturise Dylan's feet quite regularly. His toes here don't straighten, do they? They get very sore as well. MDP affects Dylan's feet. Dylan walks on his bones. He has no padding at all. He does need to use a lot of protection, otherwise they just ulcerate and just become so sore that he can't walk. You want to put your socks on?
I have a condition called NDP syndrome. NDP stands for mandibular dysplasia with deafness and prodroid features. Some of the effects can include loss of fat, loss of hearing, and it can cause a really small jaw and small ears.
When Dylan's condition became obvious, we were aware that he'd lost fat all over his body. Hearing was an issue. There was the additional factors of autism. In terms of Dylan's clothes, we had to be really careful to get things that he'd actually wear. Dylan has quite sensory issues in relation to his clothes.
My condition is only known to affect me and 15 other people worldwide. Sometimes I do feel sad about it. I think that it's extraordinary because I'm very unique.
When Dylan was born, he was like any other baby. When he was about 1, people started to comment on how thin he looked and asked me if he was eating properly. Dylan was my first baby, so I didn't really have anything to compare him to. When he was about 18 months, he lost all the fat from his body and his face was quite skeletal looking. A lot of doctors started questioning whether we were looking after Dylan properly, whether we were feeding him right. That made me quite upset. The more that we went to the hospital, we'd be told that they thought that something was wrong. They'd tell us that they thought he might have leukemia. They'd do the tests for that and then they'd say, oh, it's not leukemia, but we think it could be this. And as the conditions that they were testing him for became rarer, it became scarier and scarier. We didn't know what was happening until Dylan was 10. We were told that Dylan was the 9th person in the world with MDP syndrome. The oldest person with MDP is 65. It's a genetic condition. For some people it shows when they're very young, like Dylan was 18 months. For other people, it doesn't start showing until they're 11 or 12, so we're not sure what impact that has on the symptoms and how things progress. I was just so nervous about Dylan starting high school. I just felt like I was throwing him to the sharks. And I think the first couple of years especially were very difficult.
School at the start was difficult and I didn't think anyone at school cared. I would come home and go in my room. But I think music helped me. I use my family to help me to stay strong. I started to get into photography round about the start of high school. I would take photos on my phone and that was a way to help me to stay happy. And I would just come home and show my mum and my dad the photos that I took on my phone. And they were quite amazed. Social media was a great way to show my photography work to people and just to show that I have something that I'm passionate about.
I think Dylan just developed that strength of character to say, well, this is me, this is who I am.
I think photography has helped me to keep going. Without photography, I would not feel as positive about myself and I don't think I would be as confident as I am today. I also love dancing. That's a big part of my life. It's something that I'm also really passionate about.
Your movement is really free-flowing. You're connecting with the music. It's really beautiful to watch Dylan dance. You can see pure joy.
Dylan amazes me every day. I can't believe how it's turned out, really. He's just persevered to just become this amazing young man. We're really proud of who you are and everything that you've had to deal with, and the way that you've done it with such grace and such strength and such humility.
The bullying will never stop. There's always somebody who notices it. People, they're just mean. The world's mean. So, just gotta toughen up and get through it. I'm Melissa, the teen who constantly smells like fish. The name of my medical condition is trimethylaminuria. It makes me smell like fish. My mom knew when I was little that something was wrong, but they never found a name for it until I was about 6, because it's so rare.
She was always sweating really bad. I couldn't put clothes on her overnight because she would just sweat through them. Her doctor looked into it and called me one day and was like, hey, I think we might have something here. And he sent her to do some testing, and it came back that she had the trimethylaminuria. So trimethylaminuria prevents certain proteins from being broken down in your digestive system, and when your body can't break them down, they basically sit in your gut and rot, causing an odor.
I started kindergarten and started being bullied for it.
She was made fun of a lot, teased by a lot of the kids. Let's be honest, kids are pretty brutal, calling her fish girl and all sorts of really mean names.
There's always somebody, even in high school, there's always somebody who notices it. But they never really say it to my face. The bullying will never stop, because people, when they point out every little flaw about you, people, they're just mean. The world's mean. So, just gotta toughen up and get through it. There's no treatment really. I just can't eat certain foods, and I have to take really good care of my body. Wear perfume, deodorant all the time, take showers every night. The smell comes out all the time, especially when I'm sweating, so.
All we can do is making sure she's not eating a lot of green leafy vegetables. We have completely cut fish out of our diet. There's no milk, it's all almond milk. She can have tree nuts, just not peanuts.
You could split it with me, that'd be cool. You just don't get cheese. What? Cheese is the best part. It's really hard to find things I can eat, especially when going to a restaurant. Usually we end up at a seafood restaurant, which sucks. But usually I eat chicken tenders. That's about it.
So what are you gonna do later?
I think Jordan's gonna come over and we're gonna play softball. It took a very long time to find my confidence.
Hey Amy, do you want to come play softball with me? I suppose. Here, hold my camera.
It really started when I started playing softball. I was on a team. They didn't really care about the smell or anything. They wanted to help me be the better softball player. And that was definitely the turning point. That's where I really fell in love with the sport and really started to buckle down and wanted to play and knew that that's what I wanted to do. I work my butt off on the softball field. I work my butt off in my pitching, and I do my very best in school that I can.
That got my palm. My whole palm. She's got a lot of talent, and she's really starting to love the game and getting good at it. She's got a lot of drive. She wants to be better than everybody else, but she also wants to be better than her own self. I think it offers her a release to get her anger and her aggression out when she's frustrated. I don't think I could deal with the bullying and all the craziness that she does every day and still be able to hold my head up.
Situations like going to softball tryouts or, you know, being on a team, job interviews, those situations really make me nervous because, you know, you never know how people are going to react to it, but, you know, I know just to get through it.
Hey Jordan, you ready to go play softball? Yep, I'm ready to go play softball.
I'm not that good of a hitter either.
I like the best about Alyssa is that she can be mean but nice at the same time. I think of her as a confident person. What? Nobody heard that right.
My advice for kids that are being bullied for anything would just be let it go. So just toughen up and get through it. I have to live with it. It's never gonna go away. I just know that I have to surround myself with people who don't notice it. My hope for myself for the future is to, you know, go to college. I want to play for Alabama. I want to, you know, get a really good job, and I want to, you know, advocate for myself for the rest of my life.
Grace has had 33 surgeries, and the journey has been very intense.
I just remember screaming, and the doctor's trying to give me shots. One thing that really gets under my skin is when people stare.
2, 3, Strikers!
Her team hasn't lost in the last 2 seasons, and they're going into the championship game today, and so there's a lot on the line.
My name is Grace, and I am 13 years old. So my medical condition it's called Escobar syndrome. It is where my joints and my muscles are a lot tighter than most people's. And as well as Escobar's, I have scoliosis.
Grace's childhood has been, it's a series of ups and downs. Escobar syndrome is very rare. To date, Grace has had 33 surgeries. She gets these joint contractures, everything from her jaw, her neck, her hands, legs, arms, everything just doesn't move as well.
I have had fixators on both my legs twice. Those are where they take screws and they put them in your leg. You twist them and it makes your leg straighten.
The journey has been very intense. Every time that we do something in the OR, her genetics want to reverse it. Her ankle, at one point when she came out of the operating room, it was a 90 degree. And over time, it's reversed some. And so now she has pointy feet. And so that's part of the reason that she wears these braces then, to help give her a little bit of stability.
I've had a spinal fusion. I've had a cleft palate fixing. I've had jaw stretches. I've had 2 corneroidectomies, and I've had a hand surgery, and I think I've had some more jaw surgeries.
Even little things like getting dressed every morning. So she needs help getting her braces on. She can't really bend down to touch the ground. She can bend over, but she can't pick things up off the ground. I think the medical world doesn't want to set limitations, and quite frankly, I didn't want to hear them. Now we set our own limits.
So I have a YouTube channel. It is called Grace Nova. Hey everybody, it's Grace. So I want to teach people about Escobars and teach people about like how to be friends with someone who is a little bit different.
Put you right here on the end, okay? So just be really gentle, please, okay?
Alright, so this is what like almost all YouTubers say. It's a little bit cliche, but just to make people happy and smile.
Grace started a YouTube channel. This is an opportunity for her to set her own narrative. Your hair looks great.
So today I'm actually going to film a video. It's called Things to Do When You're Bored. One thing that I think is fun to do, well actually it's not fun, but it needs to get done, is to practice piano. And then we can cut to me.
Grace has really embraced music. Sports were oftentimes important in the family, and she felt a little bit left out on that. Music is hers. There are some things certainly she cannot do, but instead I'd rather focus on the things we can do.
I can play almost everything with my right hand. With my left hand, I play with just my one finger. I play in concerts at least 3 times a year. So one thing that really, I guess, gets under my skin is when people stare. It's just really annoying and creepy when people just stare at you. Like that. So that's one thing that kind of bothers me. I would rather a person come up to me and say, "Hi, what's your name?"
There was one instance where a child said, why do you look like you look? And she's like, well, why do you look the way you look? I would say on a regular basis, she does feel left out. It's hard for her to keep up.
There are some moments where it's hard to be positive, but I just try to stay positive.
I've really adjusted my mindset over time that rather than saying, oh, she can't do this, oh, she can't play volleyball, she can't play piano, we're just not going to do that. We're going to give it a shot.
You can brush the curls out. It's pretty ratty now. Ow. Growing up, my mom played volleyball. I wanted to be like my mom. We did find a league where it's for more beginners. I'm a very good server. I'm trying to touch the ball more. It's just hard for me.
She's done very well to hold her own out there. I think she is the shortest one on her team, and she certainly is not the fastest one on her team, but she's kind of figured out her niche.
Today, I'm actually going to play in the last big volleyball match of the season. This is our last game. This season and last season, we have not lost a single game. I don't get super nervous. What I get more nervous about is tripping or falling, because for me, it's really hard to catch myself. So right now, we are going to my volleyball game, and I'm really excited.
One, two, three.
Strikers!
I'm very proud of Grace. She makes the most of her abilities. To see her out there competing, it really warms my heart. I just love to see her out there giving it her all.
She is tough. She was able to get in and figure out her serve. They're great teammates. Some are a little overprotective. When the ball comes, they want to take it. But she can take it.
You did awesome.
I think I've just realized, okay, there's nothing I can do about it, and I can't really change the circumstances that I have, so you just have to make the best of it.
Good job, guys. Let's say it loud and proud. Strikers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Strikers!